Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Isn't She Powerful podcast. This is the final episode in the Heal Your Relationship with Food series that we've been doing during the month of December, and it has been such a fun month. If you haven't already listened to some of the previous episodes, I recommend that you go back and listen to those, especially if this is your first one that you're listening to and you end up going through it and being like, oh wow, I definitely need to work on my relationship with food. I would love for you to go back and listen to the other ones, because in the first one, we talked about the signs and symptoms of having an unhealthy relationship with food, to let you know, is this something I really need to be working on, or is this something that, I'm already doing pretty good with? So that was the first one for the month. The next one was the diet cycle. We talked about why you swing back and forth between being all in on your health goals, you're doing everything, you're like on track, and being completely off track, where you're like, I'm not doing anything, screw it, I messed up once and now we're done. I talk in that episode about why you have that swing back and forth and how to start finding balance. Last week in the third episode of the series, we talked about why food feels so chaotic for you, why it feels like you are completely overrun with thoughts and feelings about food. It feels like you're just totally out of control, and you're not the person that has the control over what you eat and when you eat and how much you eat, but food controls you. And we talked about why that happens. Like, I went and gave you an underlying level of inside your brain, what's going on. We took it deep and gave you biological reasons why food feels that way for you, and then also started to give you the action steps to healing that. I also had an on my sleeve bonus episode for this month that was about your relationship with food as well, and I gave some of the unhinged things that I personally have done to heal my relationship with food. But if you haven't listened to any of those, that doesn't mean that you can't listen to this one first. They didn't necessarily go in any order, they just all relate to your relationship with food. Today, we are going to be digging into a roadmap. What is the first thing that you need to do for healing your relationship with food? And you're actually going to find you've already done the first thing. So yay you're already on the right track. And then we're going to talk about step 2, step 3, step 4. I'm going to give you some things that you can start to notice. If you're feeling these things and doing these actions and your thoughts are this and you feel this way around food, then you know you're on the right track, or you know this isn't working for me and I need some additional help. So you're going to get some things like that as well, and I'm really excited to dig into this episode with you. Also, if you are listening to this and you're like, I definitely want to continue to work on my relationship with food, I have something really exciting for you guys. I'm going to be hosting one of my signature challenges right there at the beginning of the year. It's a little bit different than some of my previous challenges, so let me break it down for you for just a second. My challenges are typically 3-day challenges, but this one is actually going to be a 4-day challenge, and the reason for that is because we are actually going to be actively doing things together, and I wanted to give you more time to implement these things and get a little bit more accountability from me and the other people who join the challenge. So I'm really excited, because usually my challenges are more so educational, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, I've been really proud of the challenges that I've done in the past, but with it being the beginning of the year, I personally feel on fire. I just released that episode recently about 2025 energy, 2026 energy. 2025 felt like a year where like things were coming to light and like not a lot of movement was happening. Like there wasn't a lot of momentum. 2026 is the year of action and like taking action and doing things. And I'm personally already feeling that. Like I'm like, let's get it, let's go. And I feel like a lot of you are also feeling that too. And so I wanted to lean into that and give you the opportunity to take action with me. So we are going to have 4 days. And in these 4 days, I'm going to be telling you what your exercise goal is, your nutrition goal, and your water goal. And if you do all of these things and show me the proof that you've done them, because there's a whole system set up for showing me the proof that you've actually done these goals, then you earn points. And these points are going to be converted into something really, really exciting. Like I've never done anything like this before. I don't know if I'm going to again, to be honest with you, because it's like the biggest possible prize that I could give away. And let me just say, like, if you've been interested in working with me before, you want to join this challenge and commit to it, because there's a humongous prize at the end of it. But there's also ways to earn bonus bonus points and all the things, and I'm really excited for it. I feel like it's going to be such a good atmosphere of everybody taking action together. That togetherness is going to fuel you so much more. So with all of that being said, I need to get into this episode, so let me just pause and say, go down to the link in the show notes. Down there, you are going to find the link to register for this challenge. It's completely free. All the live trainings, all of the goals that we're going to be doing, all of the group chat between, and everything else about this challenge is completely free. So go down into the show notes, get yourself registered to join us. I cannot wait to see you there starting on January 5th. But for now, let's get into this episode. So all month long, we've been talking about healing your relationship with food, right? I want to get really clear for a second on what healing your relationship with food actually means, what that actually entails. Let me tell you first what it doesn't. It does not mean that you are going to be perfect. It is actually the opposite of that. We are no longer aiming for perfection. Perfection is one of the biggest reasons why you got into this mess in the first place. You trying to be perfect with your health and wellness is one of the biggest reasons why you have a broken relationship with food. So it's not about perfection. It's not about never making a mistake and overeating again. It's not about never having a craving again. You are still going to overeat. You are still going to have cravings. You are still going to fill the pool to go to the pantry after you get home from work in the afternoons. It's not about those things never happening again. It's about you knowing how to respond when those things do happen, okay? It's not about the fact that those things are gonna just completely stop and no longer exist for you. Sure, those things are definitely going to lessen over time. Your cravings, you're not gonna have as many of them over time because you're gonna have so much more control around food. You're going to have so much healthier habits when it comes to your nutrition and when it comes to your mindset. And so the cravings, you're not going to have them as often, but they'll still pop up. They'll still be there. I still get cravings, okay? The only difference between you with maybe possibly broken relationship with food and me with a healthy relationship with food is that I now know how to handle it when I get the cravings, when I do accidentally overeat, when I do start to feel that pull to go to the pantry and I'm hungry and I'm snacky and I'm, got the hangry going on. I know what to do in those situations now. And that is what it means to have a healthy relationship with food, not never letting those things happen again. Healing your relationship with food means that you have trust between you and food. You and food, let's pretend like food is a person. Food is somebody that you are in a relationship with, okay? Whether that be a romantic relationship or just a loving friend, you and food are in a relationship. You have to have trust with that person. You have to have trust with food. It has to feel like it can trust you, and you have to feel like you can trust it. We're going to dig into that more in this episode. A healthy relationship with food has neutrality. We're going to dig into that in this episode. I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. It has consistency, okay? Also something we'll dig into in this episode. And you and food feel safe around each other. Again, something we're going to dig into here in just a second. But I wanted to get clear on what it actually means to have a healthy relationship with food, what that actually means to heal your relationship with food, and what that's actually going to look like. It's not going to look like everything is perfect. It's not going to be hunky-dory. You're still going to have these situations pop up. You just have a healthier response to those situations. So I want to give you 4 pillars for having a healthy relationship with food. These are the 4 things that if you were to build something on top of it, if you didn't have all 4 of these things, then you would not be able to build a strong relationship with food or just a strong, healthy body and person and mind at all, okay? So you need all 4 of these things in order for that relationship with food to heal. It has to sit firmly on top of these 4 things. The first one, I've already mentioned all 4, I'm just digging into them now. The first one is safety, like we just talked about. Your brain has to feel like food is predictable. We talked about that in one of the other episodes in this series. It has to feel like it knows when food is coming. It knows how much food you're going to get it. It probably even knows the types of foods that it's going to get. It has to trust you, right? It has to trust that you are going to be a person who is going to feed your body consistently and feed it well. And this really comes back to no restriction. We have to stop restricting food. Stop saying no to food. Stop cutting your calories. Stop saying, well, I'm going out to eat tonight, so I'm going to skip lunch. Stop doing that. That is hurting the trust that you and food have with each other. okay? Again, remember, like, you and food are in a relationship with each other. If you consistently are like, no, I can't have you right now, so I can have you later, then food's gonna be like, well, why can't we have each other now and later, right? Like, why does it have to be now or, like, why does it have to be an or, not an and? Okay, so you have to build that trust up with food by making sure that your body knows that it is going to get food consistently. You are going to feed your body on a regular basis. The second pillar of a healthy relationship with food is trust, okay? And what I mean by that is that you trust yourself around certain foods. And the only way for you to build that trust up with hamburgers or Oreos or French fries or whatever those foods are that right now you're like, yeah, I'm not even going to order those because I wouldn't be able to stop without overeating. Or I'm not even going to bring those into my house because if they're here, I'm going to eat the whole box in one night and I'm not even going to feel good about it. I want you to get comfortable with having those foods in your house again, trusting yourself around those foods. And the best way to do that is through exposure, bringing those foods into your house, ordering them at the restaurant, getting comfortable with being around these foods, and listening to your body whenever your body starts to say, we're good, we've had enough. Get really comfortable with listening to your body whenever it starts to say that, and start to actually respond by saying, okay, yeah, we've had enough. We're good. There's still 7 fries left on my plate. I don't have to finish them. I'm good. I had enough. I'm satisfied. And guess what? I can get these same fries again in a week if I want them. I could come back to this restaurant tomorrow and order those fries again if I wanted them. They're not going anywhere. I'm completely safe to stop eating this food right now because I know that I could have it again later if I wanted to. Okay, so that's what it takes in order for you to start to build this trust up with food again. Intentionally, repeatedly exposing yourself to these foods and listening to that intuition telling you, you're good, you've had enough, and then actually responding when the intuition gives you that hit and says, yeah, you're good, you've had enough, you actually stop eating when that happens. That intuition is going to start getting louder and louder. You're going to start to feel like you actually are like, oh yeah, I know whenever I'm going to be full, like maybe a couple bites before, and I can really sit back and really savor those last couple bites because I recognize like I'm going to be full in a few bites. I'm to that point now where I'm like, okay, I know that, I'll probably have about 3 or 4 more bites in me and that I'm going to be definitely full. So I really take my time with those last few bites and really savor them. Having trust requires permission. I want you to think about a child. Think about some of those videos. You maybe have seen them online. I've seen the videos of like a mom saying, hey, don't eat any of the ice cream until I get back. And there's the video going and they can see if the kid ends up eating some of the ice cream or not until they actually come back. And a lot of times the kids, they wait. They don't do it because they want their parents' trust. They want their parents to know, like, I didn't eat anything. You can trust me, right? And whenever we feel like we're not allowed to eat something, that trust is kind of broken and it's taken away and we don't feel like we can fully allow ourselves to just eat it. For example, let's say that the Oreos are off limits for you. You're not eating the Oreos, they're bad for you and you can't have those on your new diet. So you put them in like this special spot in the pantry where they're kind of hidden. You don't see them every time you open the pantry. And then you go into the pantry one day and you're like, I'm going to eat those Oreos. And because you don't have permission to eat those Oreos, you've told yourself they're off limits and therefore you're a bad person. If you're eating them, you're cheating on your diet, you're doing something bad, then you are going to eat those Oreos so fast. You're not going to enjoy them. You're going to stuff so many of them into you so quickly because you don't have permission. You're hiding, you're doing something wrong, you're doing something bad. You have to get it over with as quickly as possible so you don't get in trouble. So give yourself permission to eat any foods, all the time. Pillar number 3 of a healthy relationship with food is neutrality. And what do I mean by that? I mean that there is no more of that language of good and bad. There are no foods that are good for you, no foods that are bad for you. Food is simply food. Some of it nourishes you a little bit more than other foods nourish you, but you and your morals are not attached to the foods that you eat. Just because this food wasn't in direct alignment with your health goals, just because it didn't have very much nourishment in it, does not mean that you are a bad person because you ate it. And just because you ate a salad at lunch today doesn't make you a good person. There's a lot of things that make you a good person and maybe some things that make you a bad person, but the foods that you eat are not those things. And so if you want to have a healthy relationship with food, you have to eliminate that vocabulary and catch yourself. Be really aware of it whenever you're using that language. Start paying attention. Oh crap, I said that I was bad today because I ate that. Oh, let me think about that. Let me rephrase that and verbally rephrase it. I do this a lot with money. Like if I say something about if I call something too expensive or something like that, that's a language that I try not to use because I'm trying to neutralize my relationship with money. Then I try to catch myself and say, oh, I'm not saying that anymore. Let me rephrase that and let me say that again in a more positive way. Okay, so catch yourself whenever you're using this language about food and start to be really intentional with your language when you're talking about food. And then pillar number 4 actually is nourishment. Okay, so what I mean by this is feed your body foods that actually give your body some nutrients that are actually going to fuel your body for success, right? Like eating enough protein and fiber and having some color into your diet. Those things are so important for you. And whenever you start to eat these foods that have a lot more natural nourishment, you're eating less of like the Cheez-Its and the frozen dinners and, all those things that are commonplace for us to eat. Those are like very normal things to eat, and they're not bad necessarily. Remember, we're not using that language. They just provide something different for our body. But if you start fueling your body with these foods that are super high in protein and give your body the fiber and the fats that your body needs, then you are going to start to feel a lot more in control with food. You're going to feel like you are fuller. You're going to feel like you are fuller for longer between meals. You're not going to feel as out of control with food. You're not going to feel as hangry. The cravings are going to start to disappear. You're going to have more energy. You are going to feel so much better. Your mood is going to stabilize. I'm telling you that if you start doing this, your relationship with food will heal because you'll start to value the way that it makes you feel. Right now, you feel like crap because you probably are eating crap. If I'm just being honest with you, if you're eating all of these foods that are telling your body, we don't have much nourishment, we're not really giving you much, then you're going to feel like you're not nourished, like you don't really have much in you. But if you start to eat foods that are making you feel good, then you're going to be like, wow, food makes me feel really good. I love to eat good food. And I'm telling you that there are ways for you to eat all of these things that you love. Like for me, my thing was chocolate. I was like, I just can't give up my sweets. I just love my chocolate too much. And you know what I did? I started to find some chocolate brands and types of chocolate that actually gave me nourishment and that actually tasted really delicious. And now I can eat those things, not feel any guilt about it, and instead just simply have a healthy relationship with food where I enjoy all foods that I could possibly be given. And I'm able to go out to eat, able to go to Chili's and say, you know what? Yeah, let's get the molten lava cake, because I don't do that all the time. And sure, that doesn't provide much nutrients for my body, but it did provide a little nourishment for my soul and made me really happy and brought back some good memories, and it felt really good to eat in the moment. And so that's okay too. You are going to start to understand and value food so much more whenever you actually nourish your body 70 to 80% of the time with foods that are bringing you genuine nourishment. Now, I want to kind of break this down into 4 phases for you in just a minute, but really quickly, I want to talk about this. Your journey to healing your relationship with food is not going to be linear. You are not going to start today or during the challenge that I'm hosting next week. You're not going to start immediately and be like, yeah, I'm just soaring. Everything is perfect. And, I'm not having any issues. I know exactly how to respond. Everything feels wonderful. It's going to be challenging. You are going to have ups and downs, just like with anything else. Any other journey that you are going on, you are going to have those ups and downs, and that's okay. But I don't want you to leave this series or leave my challenge next week or leave working with me potentially and feel like you are a failure because you're still having these challenging points. It's normal. It's going to happen. It's not a linear journey. And I also want to remind you that healing is not going to look the same for everybody. So let's say that you do join the challenge next week and there are all these people in the group chat and they're sharing, this is what's working for me. This is how I'm handling this. This is me completing my nutrition goal for today. This is what I look like doing my exercise today. Everybody's sharing all of their stuff in the chat. And you're like, well, this is what I'm looking like doing it. This is how it's going going for me, and maybe it's completely different. Maybe both of you are having success, but it's going to look completely different. So don't compare your journey to somebody else's. Don't compare your journey to what the person who works in the cubicle next to you is doing, or the lady who lives across the street from you is doing, or the person that you follow on Instagram. Don't compare your journey to theirs. You are a completely different person. It's something called bio-individuality. We are all biologically different people, and what works for you works different for everybody else, okay? So accept that. Go into this journey knowing this is my own journey. I gotta do what I gotta do for me. Now, those pillars that I talked about, let me break those down into the roadmap that I promised you at the beginning of this episode. The first stop along this roadmap is awareness. And that's what I said. You're already on the map. You're already going. You've already made progress because by this point, you are aware. You now know what it looks like to have a healthy relationship with food through listening to this. And you also now know that you might not have a healthy relationship with food, and you know what it looks and feels like to not have a healthy relationship with food. You already are aware. And I say it all the time, but change and healing and none of the stuff that I talk about can happen unless you're aware, unless you know what needs to be changed. Because for you, overeating might not be the problem. Maybe for you, it's the constant food noise that's the issue. You're constantly thinking about food all the time, and you don't necessarily overeat, but you really have all this noise inside your head about food. And so in order to change, you have to be aware of the fact that that's what you have to work on. And Sally Sue over here, she's got to work on the overeating. Again, your journey's not going to be the same, and you have to be aware of what your challenges are. And you have already started to make progress on that journey. You're probably going to make even more progress on the awareness piece of it, and you might even circle back to the awareness. You might get to stop 2 or 3 on this journey to healing your relationship with food and realize, crap, I have to circle back. I just became aware of a whole other problem that I have in this relationship with food journey. So know that it's not a linear process. You're going to come back to this awareness step 1 multiple times in the journey, but also know that awareness is the first step in it, and you've already started making progress in that piece of it. So please let that be an encouragement to you to keep going. You now are already making progress. Just keep it up and keep going. Now you have to take action on what you're aware of. After you become aware of what needs to happen with your relationship with food, then you can move on to phase 2, which is safety and permission. It's that first pillar that we talked about when we were talking about the pillars that you have to heal your relationship with food. Again, when I'm talking about this, I'm saying you have to give yourself permission to eat the foods that feel scary to you, to eat the foods that you don't feel like you can trust yourself around. Give yourself permission to eat those foods. Give yourself the permission and let your body know that it is safe. Maybe before you start eating, if the food is feeling really scary to you and you're like, I'm scared because I don't normally eat this food. This is something that's super off limits for me. Maybe it's, carbs, and you're like, these have been off limits for me for a really long time. Like, I haven't been able to eat carbs in a long time, and now here's this girl telling me that this is what it takes to get healthy. Like, you're kind of feeling very scared. Maybe sit back before you start eating this meal and just take a few deep breaths. I like to do something called box breathing, where you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold it for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, and then hold it for 4 seconds until starting the box again. I like to do that a lot because that one helps to stimulate your vagus nerve, which signals to your body to get into a state of being calm. And it also just helps to regulate your heartbeat, regulate your breathing, and just get you into a state of calm. Okay. And that's what we really want. For one, that's super great for your digestion, but also it's really important whenever it comes to having this relationship with food where you feel safe to eat these foods. Your body and your nervous system needs to know that you are safe. Phase 3 is where you start to build back that trust, and you're building back that trust through consistency, through continuing on with doing this, even after it did feel a little uncomfortable, even after you possibly did overeat, even after the craving was there and you thought the cravings would have gone away by now and you're frustrated. You continue on with consistency. You continue to show up for yourself. That is the next phase of it. That's where you're going to start to see really true progress in healing that relationship with food, building trust back up with you and your body and food and the relationship that the 3 of you have together. And finally, phase 4 is where you can say, I have a healthy relationship with food whenever it feels like your relationship with food is completely integrated into your life. Phase 4 is integration, okay? And what I mean by that is you can go out to a restaurant and you don't have to think about, gosh, if I eat that, but that's not having a healthy relationship with food. What do I need to do in this situation? How would I respond if I had a healthy relationship with food? You're going to have those conversations with yourself for a long time. And then one day you're going to realize, oh yeah, I just ordered what I wanted out of habit. Like I just did what I wanted to do. I didn't even have to think about how would I respond in this situation? What would it look like if I had a healthy relationship with food? I don't have to try to talk myself through that anymore. I just have a healthy relationship with food. You're realizing that you feel comfortable and confident, you have trust around all foods. You're like completely in control for the first time. That is integration. That is whenever you can pat yourself on the back and say, you did it. You have a healthy relationship with food. And I want to tell you too, you might get to that finish line and then you might start to see, oh my gosh, something else just came up for me. Do I not have a healthy relationship with food? You might have to go through this roadmap again and get to that finish line again in the end, but you're going to get there so much faster. What I'm saying is there are going to be situations where you're going to notice that you still have work to do. I've gotten to the finish line 2 or 3 or 4 times, and then I've had to come back and be like, this is still causing some issues for me. This particular food is still a challenge. I'm still feeling a little bit uncomfortable. And so then I have to go through the entire thing again because that was awareness when I started to realize this food is causing me some issues. That was the awareness. I had to go through building the trust, getting myself permission to eat it, allowing it to be in my house, allowing myself to eat it consistently before finally I realized, good, I have a healthy relationship with food when it comes to that food as well. And then one day you're going to be like, yay, I have a healthy relationship with food in all areas. And it's going to feel like so much freedom. You are going to feel absolutely incredible when that comes for you. Now, with all of this being said, it can be challenging to do some of these things on your own, and that's why I exist, because for me, I wanted so badly to have a healthy relationship with food. I wanted so badly to understand what I was feeling. I wanted some validation, I think is what I wanted for a really long time. I wanted somebody to be like, Laura, you're not the only one who's like obsessed with food in an unhealthy way. Like you're not the only one who's feeling this way. I just wanted somebody to tell me that. And I think that's why I chose this path this path honestly chose me. I didn't know what I was doing in the beginning. I just started talking about it and here we are. But this is why I am coaching in the way that I'm coaching and on the topics that I'm coaching on, because I just wanted somebody to say, you're not alone. There is a way out and here's how we're going to do it. And that's what I'm giving you. So with all of that being said, please go down into the show notes, use the link to join the Heal Your Relationship with Food Challenge starting on January 5th. It's a 4-day challenge. We are going to be doing so much fun stuff together. It's going to be a very active challenge, and I'm so excited to push you guys past the points where you think you could be pushed. So with that being said, I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much for tuning into all of the episodes from this series, whether that was on one of the regular podcasting sites that you usually listen or my new YouTube people. Thank you for being here and joining me on this journey. I love you all. I cannot wait to see you again next week.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to see you again next week. And always remember, the more you know, the more you grow.